Hello and welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omorogbe.
I am Tayo Salam. Thank you for joining us again.
All right, we start off with this one. Liverpool, they are on fire. And of course, it was all about Mo Salah on the night. He got 2 goals, and that's how they were able to own the Merseyside derby.
Yes, the result was never in doubt. A fantastic performance coming from the Reds. From the red side of Merseyside. It has to be said, and for Rafael Benitez, the pressure intensifies. Also on the program this time around, we're talking athletics, where we have athletes of the year, talking about Elaine Thompson Hera and Kirsten Vaughan.
All right. On the program, we'll talk the NBA, where Giannis, he stakes the Hornets. It was all about 40 points on the night, a monster double-double, just one shy of a triple-double. And of course, he got the best of the Charlotte Hornets. Lamelo Ball had 36 points, but that just wasn't enough for his team.
So imagine you as a Hornet being stung by the Bucks. So that's how it panned out between the Bucks and the Charlotte Hornets. Giannis Antetokounmpo with a late layup. As a matter of fact, in the final seconds.
2.0 seconds.
There you go, to steal the victory for Milwaukee. We'll come to that game later on. It's our feature match of the show. But before then, we have results from all the games played.
So let's take a look at all the results that were played early hours today. Where you have Giannis leading the Milwaukee Bucks to that fantastic victory. The game between the Hawks and the Pacers was 114 and 111. The Atlanta Hawks winning that one. You know, the guy who was responsible for that, no other than Trae Young. He carried them in that game. The Nuggets and the Magic was 103 and 108. And Timberwolves and the Washington Wizards. Washington Wizards winning that. That's quite a monster performance coming from Karl Anthony Towns. It just wasn't enough for the team. You also have the game between the 76ers and the Boston Celtics. It was 88-87. That's how close it was. A very close game in that Joel Embiid still struggling. You know, and of course, you don't have Ben Simmons with them. But then they just continue to endure that topsy-turvy campaign, so to speak, this season, losing that game by just a point to the Boston Celtics. And the other game between the Cavs and the Heat, it was 111 and 85. The Hornets and the Bucks, that's our star match of the day. We'll come back to that later. The Rockets, their 4th straight win.
There you go.
They beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 114 and 110. And the Clippers losing again at 124 and 115. I think the Clippers need to pick up, right?
Absolutely, the Clippers started the season slow, picked up, won a few games in a row. Now they're back to the old ways, so they're going to sit up. There's a shout out to Chimeze Metu, the Tigers forward, finishing with 13 points and 6 rebounds for the Sacramento Kings in that victory. Now let's focus on the Bucks and the Charlotte Hornets. What a game. What a shootout between Giannis Antetokounmpo and LaMelo Ball. And at the end of 4 quarters, it was the Greek Freak that prevailed, literally, scoring the winning basket with just 2.2 seconds left on the clock to give Milwaukee a 127 to 125 victory, their 8th win in a row. So the defending champions, it's safe to say they're back to Celia.
Obviously, they're back. You know, when they started the season, it was rough for them because they didn't have Chris Middleton and the other top guys not playing because of the injury, depleted squad. And now, since Chris Middleton returned, Giannis and the likes, they've been having a resounding victory. And so far, if you check what they've done, as you mentioned, 8 straight games. That's remarkable. We didn't know they would be able to do this. But right now, with all the top stars here, they've been able to have that. And for Giannis, as mentioned earlier, 40 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists.
Wow.
It was just one shy of triple-double. He could have just won left. And then right now, check what they have, 14 wins and 8 losses so far this season. Well, for Charlotte Hornets, another close game for them. I believe they would have loved to win this one. Against the Chicago Bulls also, they struggled, but they couldn't. But now, against the Milwaukee Bucks also, they lost. And just check how close the game were. If not for that layup, you know, the 2.0 seconds left coming from Giannis, I believe maybe they could have won 127-125, just 2 points game for the Bucks.
Without that driving layup from Giannis, we would have gone into overtime.
Yes.
And who knows what would have happened
In overtime.
afterwards. So good victory for the Bucks. Chris Middleton finishing with 21 points on the night. Let's play a thought for LaMelo Ball. That's the guy right there in picture. Sophomore here, playing like a veteran. 36 points, career best for the 20-year-old. Kelly Oubre Jr. also added 25 points, while Miles Bridges finished with 22 points. Talking about LaMelo Ball, 12 of 22 shots from the field, including 8 of 15 from beyond the arc. So it was a fantastic performance from this guy. And I also dished out 9 assists. So he's an all-round basketball player. He's only going to get better. But the night belonged to Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he's been telling us how he managed to secure victory for the Bucks with that very late layup.
I'm just waiting. I see when the first guy goes, the second guy goes for the lob. If those two things are not there, and then I see Drew gets the ball, that's when I started, getting closer and closer and closer. And until he turns and looks at me, I got to be in the place that I can be a threat, like 1-2 steps behind the three-point line, so I can, take some, like a runoff, like time to, take off. And if I see nobody guards me and I'm one-on-one, I got to go all the way. If I see somebody moving, it's a guy in the corner, I think, and there's pass back to Drew. I'm happy. First of all, I'm happy that you went in. I haven't seen the play, but I knew in the position I was, there was 2 things I could do. It's or throw a floater up or try to sneak it in. And when you try to sneak it in, you got to put spin in. And if you don't want to get blocked, if you just go, normal, most likely you're going to get blocked. So you got to be sneaky with it, So that's what I try to do, and thank God he won it.
Thank God it went in. Giannis Antetokounmpo with that late, miraculous shot to give the Bucks the victory.
Like Hail Mary shots?
Yeah, kind of.
Close to it, right?
Yeah, close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Giannis attacking the paint. There's usually only one result because it's just too big, too strong, hard to stop unless you build a wall, and sometimes it even goes through the wall as well. So
his own does several times through the wall.
Exactly. So anyway, so that's it for the basketball games. We have standout performers.
Yeah, about 6 of them.
Oh, really? Really?
Trae Young, of course, obviously a part of it because what he did with the Atlanta Hawks, having 33 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists. That's coming from Trae Young. As we're looking at top performers now, and of course, Kyle Anthony Towns, having 34 points, 10 rebounds, and 1 assist, but just wasn't enough for his team. Yeah, Trae Young, right there, 33, 8, and 10. A double-double on the night, of course, helps his team to victory.
Awesome stuff. Kyle Anthony Towns, Cat, 34, 10, and 1 for the Minnesota Timberwolves in their matchup as
LaMelo Ball, yes. Okay, yeah.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for the OKC Thunder. Was a losing effort.
Yeah, it was a losing effort.
Doesn't take anything away from the fact that he scored 39 points, grabbed 4 rebounds, and dished out just 2 assists in that game. And LaMelo Ball, Cecilia, 36, 5, and 9.
2 sharp, a double-double.
That is just awesome.
But it wasn't the losing side anyway.
Yeah, well, these things happen. And the guy responsible for LaMelo Ball being on the losing side is Giannis Antetokounmpo, 40 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists. Monstrous performance. Jason Tate for the Houston Rockets.
Okay.
I am loving this, Cecilia. The Rockets 4 in a row after losing 15 straight.
Now, Jason Tate, as you mentioned, he's one star player. The reason why the OKC lost, that's why having a 39 points from a particular player, it was because he joined Hakeem Olajuwon as the only Rocket player to record 30+ points, 10+ rebounds, 5+ assists, and 5+ blocks in a game.
Wow.
So
take about
Jason. The stats was filled up.
Take about Jason. Fantastic victory for the Houston.
Straight loss. Now they are on a 4-game winning streak. So let's see how far the Rockets will go.
Yeah, let's see. And unfortunately, it looks like the OKC Thunder are now replacing the Houston Rockets as a team or as a whipping boys because they've now lost 7 in a row. Anyways, that's basketball. For basketball is a game of runs and momentum, you know, negative or positive. Exactly. All right, so that's it for the NBA. Cecilia, let's get on with the show and let's go and talk a bit of track and field. It's award season. Obviously, it's the end of the year. We're seeing the Ballon d'Or go down. We're going to see the FIFA Best Awards early next year as well, too. But this time around, it's track and field. And no surprises.
We've got the athletes of the year.
Because they truly, the two winners on the night truly deserve the awards.
They went to Tokyo and literally shattered all the records. I mean, defying whatever anyone wants to say concerning the record. Even something took time out to have a baby, we were like, okay, maybe when she comes back, she was a bit slow and she didn't really compete so much in 2022, pandemic and everything, 2021. And then she went to Tokyo and she shattered all the records.
Double queen.
First woman to win back-to-back Olympic sprint doubles. I mean, she retained the 100 meters and the 200 meters title. And not only that, memorable performance also in the 4x100 meters relay. I mean, her time of 10.61 seconds, 200 meters, 21.53 seconds, but the second fastest in history.
So she went to Tokyo, won 3 gold medals. That's awesome. We'll see the picture of Kristen Warholm, another great athlete from Norway who won the male athletes of the year for the season, in which he broke the men's 400 meters hurdles world record twice en route to becoming the first man to run the race in under 46 seconds, where he achieved the feat in the Tokyo 2020 Olympic finals. Cecilia,
incredible.
There's not much to say about these guys. They truly deserve to be the athletes of the year. Talk about guys wherever you are.
All right, let's just enjoy the moment where the awards were presented to them by Sebastian Coe. That's the World Athletics President.
And the winner of the Male Athlete of the Year is Carsten Warholm. I'm so pleased for you.
Thank you, sir.
About time.
Oh,
That's yours.
So happy for this.
Now, there were no fans, as you know, in the stadium in Tokyo, but those of us who were really lucky enough to be there were rendered speechless by your run that day. At what point in the race did you not only think you were going to win the race, but you were going to rupture your own world record?
You know, first when I saw the timing, I was like, this must be a mistake, you know, because it's like, I didn't see that one coming. And also I didn't see the victory coming before crossing the finish line. It was a very intense race. I knew the American and the Brazilian and all the other guys, you know, they were really, really chasing me. So I always go out hard and I never know what's going on behind me. So, you know, I was just fighting all the way to the finish line. And obviously when I realized 45.94 was a reality, I was thinking, this is not too bad. I'll take it.
Same again next year?
Oof. 44, huh? No. You know, it's something I'm going to work very hard to be able to always be better. But I think now it's getting worse and worse because, you know, we pushed the limit very far. But, you know, we're always up for a new challenge.
To reveal the winner, once again, our Male Athlete of the Year, Carsten Warholm.
And the winner of the Female Athlete of the Year is Elaine Thompson-Herah.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm so pleased.
I am.
Many, many congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Now, we saw some extraordinary footage, some really funny footage of your grandmother while you were running in the 100 meters. Were you as excited as she was at the end of the race?
I think more. More excited.
And we love history here, and you created history in Tokyo, the double-double. I guess there's no chance that you're going to be remotely thinking about hanging your spikes up for some time.
No, I think I have more. So I'm just using every year to just take it year by year, you know. I went very close to the world record, so, you know, anything is possible. So no spikes hanging up no time soon.
And you told me you will do the hurdles, right? The 400 hurdles?
And then the 800.
Yeah. Oh, the 800, okay.
I might challenge myself.
That's great.
And Oregon?
Most definitely.
Excited?
I am. It's close to home, you know. I hope friends and family could come out and watch. I hope I get some crowd as well. It was not in Tokyo, but hopefully in Eugene, I can get my friends and family to come and cheer me on.
I think you'll get a lot of crowd in Eugene.
I know.
All right, so your winners are on the night, Lane Thompson, Hera, as well as Kirsten Vaughan, the World Athletics Athletes of the Year. Pardon me there. Congratulations to both guys. We need to get on with the show now, and we've got a guest in the house, Cecilia. And this time around, we're about to talk about football, development of football.
Which is really important. Okay, and we're talking about the BOS Under 21 Championship that's coming up in Lagos. So we have Dotun Koka, is the technical director of Lagos State Football Association, and also a member of the BOS organizing committee, technical committee, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
you're welcome to the program.
For you to be able to talk about this, because you're actually in that particular field, the technical director.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, Cecilia. Good morning, Tarek. It's nice to be on the show. So the BOS Under 21 Youth Cup is an initiative of the Senior Special Assistants of to our Mabel Governor, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, and they've put this together to support the government as part of youth football development. And again, is to ensure that they bridge the gap between the youths and the government, and for these youths to know more about their local government, because we found that most of these youths, they don't even have chance to meet their local government chairman or councillors. So this has created an avenue for them to know their chairman and know the local government where they're residing. So that's and we want to create more good ambassadors for the state. So that's the whole idea of this event. And so far, the way it's going is that we didn't use clubs to participate in this event. What we did was to ensure individual players, you register online for the local government of your residence. Go back to your local government, be the ambassadors. So we had over 5,000 players that registered for this event across the 57 local governments. Yeah, and we had the screening done for each local government. We wound out to 23 players, 3 goalkeepers, 20 outfield players. And we had an intra local government tournament where winners emerged to represent the local government. So we won 57 local government into 20 local government. So let me just give you an example. It's just like Surulere local government. You have Itire, Ikate, LCDA, and you have Kokaguda LCDA. So amongst the 3 of them, they played the round robin, and the winner represented that zone. So we wound up to 20 local governments and divided the 20 local governments into 5 groups of 4 teams each. We've completed that exercise where the top teams and the 3 best losers came out for the quarterfinals. Quarterfinals were played yesterday at Slim Balogun Stadium, and the semi-final comes up on Saturday at Mobolaji Johnson Arena, and the finals on Sunday at the same Mobolaji Johnson Arena.
That's awesome. On Sunday, so I want to believe the governor will be a part of the final proceedings.
We've gotten assurance that he'll be there. 4 p.m. kickoff final, the grand finale.
Okay, interesting.
And I mean, this is the first edition of the competition, right? So is it designed to be a yearly situation, or is it a one-off?
Yeah, it's designed to be an annual event. So it's not, let me make it clear, the state government has not committed funds into it. All what we have is the endorsement of Mr. Governor, that look, this is a good initiative, go ahead with it.
It's more like driven by the
Lagos corporate State Lagos, endorsed by the Lagos State Football Association and the divisional football associations as well. So, and we have the cooperation of the coaches as well. So it's making it look good for us.
So there's a structure for it to continue. So even if the governor is no longer around, and of course these present members of the FA are no longer there, we're still going to be having...
Exactly.
But the name, will it remain? BOS?
The name will remain. The name will remain because it's an initiative of the SSS to the governor, and they've made provisions. Let's have a pool that this thing continues as an annual event. So the state FA will continue to promote that event.
Interesting. Now, for the players taking part, outside being ambassador of the local government, any other thing in store for them?
Well, what we have was we've had commitment from the Stella Group. It's a big scouting company, and they've been doing the scouting. They've been identifying talents that can be promoted and developed. So it's a great benefit for the players themselves, the clubs they're playing for. We're not taking them away from their clubs. So it's a benefit for them, and they'll be able to take something back to their family and to the local government as well. So, and so far, so good. At least I can bet as chairman technical committee, I can say that at least I've identified 3 that will play for Team Lagos in the next National Sports Festival.
Interesting. And I love the fact that it's also on the 21, which is really great. And the way they register, all of them had to come in and represent your state. Mr. Dotun, thank you so much for coming on the program today. We'll be there for the finals, hopefully.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right. Cheers.
You're welcome.
All right, we need to go on a break. When we come back, of course, we'll be talking the English Premier League and also what went down, what's going to go down today, Arsenal and Manchester United. Welcome back. We're now 3 in the studio. We have Damilola Onifade right here from FRC. Good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's nice to be here.
Good morning.
Great to have you.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back.
All right.
Okay, before we go to EPL, let's just quickly touch down on what is going on in Qatar. Remember, they'll be hosting the World Cup next year. This time, of course, you should be having the FIFA 2022 FIFA World Cup. But right now, what's going on is the Arab Cup, where you have most countries from Africa are taking part. You've got Sudan, you've got Morocco, you've got Egypt, you've got Algeria, Tunisia. They're all taking part in the Arab Cup, more like a build-up for the Nations Cup starting in January. And for Egypt, yes, they just a lone goal. They managed to beat Lebanon by a lone goal. They don't have their star players, of course. You know the reason why they don't have their star players. But then 7 minutes into the second half, they were able to get something out of the game. It ended just 1-0. And the other game, the other team that were in action happens to be Morocco. Yeah, Morocco were also in action in the game. And of course, they had, that's the penalty right there.
Penalty Egypt.
And that was enough for them to win that. Okay. Then, and who actually scored that was Mustafa Mata.
Yeah, so that Mohamed Magdi Ashfaq scored the winning penalty for Egypt in that game.
Mohamed Mustafa.
So the other matchup we're saying now is between
Algeria
and Sudan.
Ended 4-0. Algeria getting their campaign on a winning note. By halftime, they were already 3-0 up. I mean, so it simply means they're now first in the group. A brace coming from Baghdad, Boneja. They got a brace for them, and goal for Jema Bajari and El Harab Sudani also sealed that victory for them. So these guys are really preparing for the Nations Cup. Another team that was also in action happens to be Morocco. Morocco also had a resounding victory, and it was against Palestine. They are in Group C, 4-0, and Mohamed Nahiri scored the opening goal in 31 minutes.
Oh, what a strike that was. Yeah, that's culture. Goalkeeper probably should have done better, Dami, but I guess it wasn't meant to be for. But for Dami, what we're saying, apart from these teams getting ready, a lot of these African countries getting ready for the AFCON, which is just days away. We're counting down days now. We're also getting to see how ready Qatar, is for the World Cup. Seeing the stadiums, everything. I mean, the stadiums look like good to go. Like they're ready to host the World Cup in December.
Definitely. December next year, that's about a year from now. And to have it in this state, I think probably in the long run, this is probably the first time that most of the facilities for the World Cup is way ahead ready. And I think that's kudos to them, no matter what you think of the Qatar 2022 World Cup. One thing you can't dispute is that they are ready for it. That you can't dispute in terms of facilities, they are ready for it. But I also think the interesting part for me is the fact that the draws for the African playoff is now next year. How will this impact on the ranking of the African teams, the 10 teams? Because CAF had not said if they are going to use the ranking for November. And Nigeria is currently 5th. Egypt is 6th.
Are you afraid?
I am, really. Let me be honest with you. Because the implication of it has... Now, CAF has also not decided if it's going to be 2 legs. If it's going to be 2 legs, the advantage of the seeding, because for me, the 10 teams are almost equal. The advantage of the seeding is that if you are seeded in the top 5, you play your second leg at home. But if you are in the between 6 to 10, you play your second leg away. And that's the implication. If this is going to help Egypt to get more ranking points, and by some magic, they are now fit to assist, that's the trouble we'll be finding ourselves.
I know why he's afraid. Okay. Right. Remember how we had Algeria in our group and also qualify for the World Cup? I think this time around we can also do.
This is not the same Super Eagles.
It's not
This is not the same Super Eagles.
The team has regressed.
The team has regressed. Okay, I just believe we have more players now.
Now, when I say team now, I'm talking not just the players, even the technical crew, everything has regressed.
Exactly.
That's my view.
I think we need to leave this Arab Cup right now because it's actually putting a fear in everyone concerning the ranking. But FIFA, of course, is endorsed by FIFA, so obviously it's going to impact on the rankings of Egypt, Morocco, Tunisia, Tunisia, Sudan, the teams that are taking part. But then we'll wait for CAF to see if they're going to use the seeding for November, you know, for it. That's just where we'll wait. Okay, for us to talk EPL, we have Badar Akintunde Johnson. He's on a Thursday, so obviously we'll have him on the show this morning. Good morning, it's good to have you.
Morning, Cecilia. Morning, everyone in the studio. Good to be here as always.
Yeah, quickly, I don't know if you have some thoughts concerning the Arab Cup that is going on in Qatar and the impact it's going to have on the African teams that are taking part.
Oh, well, good tune-up ahead of the last phase of the qualifiers early next year. Again, a good test run of the facilities. Qatar is in excellent condition. All the facilities are grade A. They're in top shape. They are ready as though they can actually host the competition tomorrow if it were to start. Yeah. So for the African teams, I mean, see, I'm the least interested in this in the seedings. I do believe that if you must qualify for the World Cup, you should be ready to beat the best teams. Doesn't matter who you draw. All the teams have marginal differences in terms of quality. By the end of the day, it's the hunger, the determination to do all that is required over 2 legs, if that's how it goes, to make it to the World Cup, that will determine who eventually ends up there. You may end up drawing Mali and get trounced home and away if you're not prepared. And you can draw Algeria and, you know, dump them out if you play well. So it's a question of just arriving at the right moment for those 2 games, having your players fit, having them ready to roll, having your technical staff ready, knowing what they're doing, not wondering whether they have been sacked or not, knowing that they do have a job and they have a plan in place. So yeah, the Arab Cup definitely good tune-up, quality matches, great goals being scored. Some of the African teams actually don't have their top players, obviously, because it's smack in the middle of the beginning of the business end of the season, especially those who play in the Premier League, where matches are going to be coming almost every 2-3 days now. So, but as a collective, yeah, they can bond better over the course of the competition. They can perfect some of their tactics and just generally get ready for what should be an interesting playoff round of World Cup qualifiers from the Africa zone.
Yes, we can't wait for that one. So let's get on with the show now, Bada. Let's talk about the Premier League match that was played last night, the Merseyside derby, and Liverpool were just simply imperious on the night. Usually when you go into a derby match, you hear all sorts about form out of the window, but I just kind of got the feeling that that wasn't going to be the case in this one, considering the forms of the both sides. Liverpool winning games like it's going out of fashion. Everton on the other side cannot buy a win at the moment. So after 90 minutes, it was 4-1 to Liverpool. Well-deserved victory. And afterwards, Jurgen Klopp described that victory or that performance as the best under him at Goodison Park.
Well, you can say that again, and it's reflective of the general quality of Liverpool, not just their form, but just the quality of the team. Even if Everton were in good form, like Arsenal was, Liverpool's quality on the night would still have been too high for them. As I said, Arsenal was on a 10 or was it 11 game unbeaten run before they met Liverpool, and Liverpool tore them apart. So Everton even had a bigger mountain to climb coming into this one because they had been at 6s and 7s. They'd been in poor form, but as they say, on the night you'd expect that the hunger will kick in, the pride will kick in. They were playing a derby. They wanted to lay their lives on the line, and that man in the picture particularly was a leader on the pitch on the day, Demaral Gray. He was a fantastic in fantastic form last night, and one of the reasons why at a point it looked like they had a chance in the game because they pulled it back to 2-1, and for a brief spell of about 10-15 minutes they were on the front foot. They were asking questions. Just before a halftime, it looked like they might get a second goal. But Liverpool, like City, they choose 10, 15, 20-minute spells in games when they switch it to the highest gear, and then they sort of, let off a little bit and allow the opposition play. And that was exactly what happened. As soon as they smelled danger, they switched it back on again and just took the game away from Everton. Across the park, they just had too much quality. The front players, Salah, every time he got the ball to feet, there was just danger. It looked like something might happen, something would happen. In midfield, Henderson and the likes were dictating the pace. Thiago is in the form of his life as a Liverpool player. The way they passed the ball, Trent Alexander-Arnold again, Robertson on the other side. The way the confidence, the swagger with which they pass the ball, the incisiveness, the way they just sort of cut the opposition open. It's just so impressive. Liverpool, City are in a different league. They are playing a different game from the rest of the league. Even though City is top of the league at the moment, I still think and I still believe very firmly that in terms of quality of the football being played and the quality of the performances on a consistent basis, I think it's City first for me, Liverpool second, and then Chelsea not so far behind in third place, and then the rest of the league. That's how it is for me. And again, like I said, it seemed like Everton were in the game until Seamus Coleman, lost his concentration, allowed the ball bounce just before him and bounce beyond him for Salah to latch onto. Yeah, terrible mistake, especially from a usually dependable player like himself and leader of the Everton team. And once Salah ran clear, there was no stopping him. And once that third goal went in, he just destroyed the resolve and the confidence of the Evertonians. And it was only a matter of when the fourth one was going to go in, and Diogo Jota duly, obliged and supplied a consummate finish for the fourth one. So Liverpool continue their winning streak. Their very impressive form. And they were always going to win. Everton would have needed a combination of extraordinary factors to go in their favor to get anything out of that game. The only thing that they got for them was that goal by Gray and the 15 minutes or so that followed. The rest of it was Liverpool all the way, and full value for their win.
Yeah, you're spot on. Rafa Benitez, no win in 8 now, under serious pressure. I believe we have his post-match thoughts. We're going to listen to Rafa Benitez, what he has to say about that game, and we'll come back, we'll get the thoughts of Damilola. Rafa Benitez, the pressure is definitely mounting. Started the season so well, Dami, but it's safe to say the wheels are falling off now.
Yeah, and it's not going to get any easier. Come Monday, they'll be facing Arsenal.
There you go.
And so it's not going to get any easier. For me, within that run of 8 matches without a win, I don't think that run is defined by this game because, like Bada said, quality for quality, the only way Everton could have gotten anything from this game would have been if Liverpool decided to beat Liverpool. Probably somebody pick up a red card early in the game, or maybe they start making mistake, the type that Coleman made yesterday, and that's the only way Everton will have had a chance. But within that run, there are games they should have won, like the Brentford game. Those are games they should have won to have snapped the negative run.
Then that terrible one against Leicester, where they considered how many goals in the last 15 minutes?
As well. So they've had games that they should have used to snap the poor on, but they didn't do that. And they are not going to do it against, they are not going to do it against Liverpool. So I think the excuse is just normal excuse that managers will make after a game. We're missing key players. We lost against world-class players. Listen, maybe they have a chance against Arsenal, though. Most Arsenal fans will not want to hear that. But just maybe.
Maybe, right? But I think you've made the point already that this is not what defines that run. Is the previous games.
Yes.
The game I was talking about was actually against Watford. Where they were leading and they capitulated and considered a lot of goals towards the end of the game and ended up losing that one as well. So, but that's how it is for Everton. They're 14th on the log now, and the pressure is definitely increasing or mounting on Rafa Benitez. We're still talking the Premier League. Let's go to tonight. There's a big matchup involving the Gunners and Manchester United. Michael Carrick is going to be in charge of this game because Ralph Rangnick still awaiting the work permits. Anyway, so those are the fixtures for you. Tottenham, Brentford, and Manchester United versus Arsenal. Guys, what are you expecting tonight from Manchester United standpoint, first of all? Bada, let me come to you with Manchester United. Michael Carrick been in charge of 2 games now, and you have to say he's made some really, really bold calls. Let me leave it like that. How do you think he's going to approach this one against the Gunners tonight?
Against Villarreal and against Chelsea, the first significant tweak that he made was in the shape of the team. Previously under Ole, they were playing too open. They were too easy to carve open. They were conceding chances. They were conceding goals, but they kept it tighter. Villarreal had most of the ball. Villarreal should have won. David De Gea kept them in the game up until Ronaldo scored from a mistake, and then Jadon Sancho added the second late on. Against Chelsea, they were ultra defensive. The only meaningful chance I remember them creating in that game was from the mistake Jorginho made that presented Sancho with the opportunity. But tonight, they play at home against Arsenal. The expectation of United fans will be that they will be on front foot, and that's where I fear for them. Because whereas it was okay to go away to Villarreal and play defensively, to go away to Chelsea and play defensively, tonight the expectations will be different. They will be expected to take the game to Arsenal. And yes, they have the attacking quality. They've got Ronaldo if he starts. They've got Rashford, all of the attacking players, banked in form. That was never the issue. Goal scoring was never the issue. The issue has always been keeping it tight, especially in key moments, in transition, when they lose the ball, the opposition being able to pick them apart, being able to attack them and break them down too easily. That's what worries me a little bit about them, because there's a lot of pace in this Arsenal team. They also can play against on the breakaway. The Sakas, the Martinellis of this world can worry you with a lot of pace, especially with Lokonga finding his passing range in the last game. Partey as well down the middle. Odegaard if he starts. It'll be interesting to see whether Lacazette starts ahead of Odegaard to partner Aubameyang, who's been off the boil a little bit in front of goal, missed penalties in recent games, missed an open net. The last one has a point to prove, but in the last few games has scored goals against United. Arsenal have been solid, 6 clean sheets in the last 10 games. And now they've got a solid goalkeeper behind the back 4 in Aaron Ramsdale, whose showreel must contain some of the best saves you'll find anywhere in the world this season. Produced another stunner against John Shelby, against Newcastle. So point is, United would have to do a lot to score goals, but also would have to do a lot to keep Arsenal's attack out. The attacking and midfield quality that Arsenal has got, they're going to definitely trouble them. But like I said, the biggest dynamic shift is in the fact that the Old Trafford fans will be expecting United to be in the ascendancy, to take the game to Arsenal. Unfortunately, in the last few big games they played there, it's been disastrous. Liverpool 5-0, City 2-0. That that can play on the mind of the players. They can become jittery as to not be sure how to approach the game. But I expect that Ralph would have had a few inputs here and there to find a fine balance between the kind of defensive solidity that they had against Villarreal and Chelsea and the sort of attacking impetus that they would require in a home game against Arsenal.
Okay.
So I expect United to go for it, and as a result, present Arsenal with the opportunity to pick them off. If Arsenal take their chances, it will slightly favor. I mean, and this is not me speaking as an Arsenal fan. This is just me speaking of what I've seen of United so far. I think that it might slightly favor Arsenal because they look more defensively solid, and they will concede possession to United. And United, if they don't score early, they might not know how to deal with that. And United might present the opportunities on the back foot to Arsenal to score 1 or 2 goals against them, and that might be the deciding factor. But this again maybe just has a look of a drawn game about it. Two teams who will make mistakes, two teams who may not punish the opposition fully for it, two teams who may just score the odd goal, and that'll be it for the night.
All right, fingers crossed. We'll see how that game indeed pans out tonight. Bada, many thanks for joining us again. Appreciate your insight and analysis as always. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we need to go on a break now. When we'll come back, we'll be getting the pre-match thoughts of the two managers, Michael Carrick and Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta speaking ahead of tonight's match against Manchester United at Old Trafford. Dami, your thoughts on this game? How do you see it panning out? Bada has already suggested perhaps it could end in a draw for you. How's it going to be?
I think that will be a winner.
There'll be a winner.
And one or two things will define the game itself.
What?
I think we know what to expect from Arsenal. We know the way they will play. Okay. But even when Arsenal is on a good run, they have this tendency to cave in when they play a big side. Liverpool is the most recent one you remember.
But Liverpool are not United.
Yeah, Liverpool are not United, but they're a big side. That's my point. You don't need to...
Liverpool and United are not
and the other team is not on form, and yet
level.
They will still not deliver on the day. I think for United, the key thing is how they want to play this time. Carrick had handled the team in a particular way, but he can't afford to do that at Old Trafford. Otherwise, the fans will just call him to just leave immediately. There is no way you play Arsenal.
Anyway, so
there is no way you play Arsenal at Old Trafford and you defend. It's not going to happen at Old Trafford. So how the players will cope.
They don't even have the defenders
to defend. How the players will cope if he decides to go for it. It's a different story entirely. But I think that will be a winner. Most likely for me, surprisingly, I'll pick United to win.
Really?
Okay, surprising. Imagine, it's surprising you pick United to win.
So because they are not on form. So
when you
how
say
terrible can they
when
go?
you say you expect United to approach this game in a different way than we saw against Chelsea, does that mean we're likely to see the return of Cristiano to the starting lineup?
I think this kind of game is made for Ronaldo.
To start.
These are the kind of game Ronaldo would like to strive in. He knows the attention is on United tonight, and it's made for him. I also think Jadon Sancho, for some reason, is probably the biggest beneficiary of only leaving Old Trafford.
Looks that way.
So you also expect him to play as well. I mean, no other player has scored more goals from United within that period. So he should also start. And again, that will also now count on what will Arteta do. Because if you look at the attacking threat of United, as a coach, there's no way you're not thinking about them, no matter how poor they are defensively. And so that will also inform how offensive you want to be in terms of keeping your own shape at the back. So I think everything for me, aside there is Man United results in the Premier League coming into this game, for me it should be in their favor.
Because they've got the players to do it. If they want to deliver. That's just...
it's interesting that you've chosen United to win this one. But we'll see, because the two games they've played under Carrick so far, Villarreal and Chelsea,
they won.
They won, and they won at Stamford, which is as good as a win for United, considering where they're coming from. But the performances have not been convincing. They've got the results, but if you look how they play those games,
I think they're at a point this season, and the way they've played this season, that the fans have to be realistic. Before you expect good football, get the points on board. United are 10th on the table. And that's a terrible position at this point of this December already. So just get the points, no matter how badly you play. Just get the points. Just climb the table.
Tuchel started stringing in, started scoring more goals. We saw how he came.
Chelsea were boring.
1-0, they were boring to watch.
1-0, but he was getting it.
He was going to build a team that would be hard to beat.
1-0 won them the Champions League.
So that's the thing.
So what you're saying now, Dami,
get the result, Tayo.
Result is all that matters, and there's really no the United way. That's
What's the United
now?
United way is winning. Tayo, we've agreed on this already.
Yeah, I know we have.
There is not really a particular style of play. Go and check Alex Ferguson. Go and check all the games he played. I mean, there was actually
one game.
I
put it in quotes because that's been the narrative. United have got to play a certain way.
Do you remember the 8-2 against Arsenal? I think it was 22 or something. They played without a non-striker. Yes. Remember that game? We have Fabio and
United is not Barcelona.
It's
not.
My point is the United way talk and that narrative no longer matters at this point.
No, the United way is attacking
winning
football.
Mentality. Yeah.
And what we've said, and the three of us have agreed on, is that they have attackers who attack. That's their style of play. Push Arsenal back.
The DNA is winning. There's nothing else, Tayo. There's nothing so about that. You can decide to go all defensively. I mean, you can decide to maybe play 7 or 8 defenders, which United won't do anyway. But then you will understand that the only thing they want most times out of a game is to win the game, even if it's just by a half goal. So that's the United way.
So where's this media narrative? Where's this narrative come from about United attack?
Because when you have Louis van Gaal who will pass the ball to death, I mean, the pass you almost be slipping when you're passing sideways and backways and everything without going forward. I think that's when the whole narrative started.
I think that's where it started.
That's where it
but
started.
then they had the Moyes before them playing the United way. What did they get?
What did he get? He didn't get, of course.
What did they get out of it?
United sideways game. And what happened? They got at least a trophy out of it. Anyways, and Jose came, he got a trophy out of it.
Got a couple of trophies, actually.
So let's look at the papers.
Yeah, so
leave the United way.
Exactly. Arsenal, they've got a chance of going into the top 4 tonight if they can get a victory at Old Trafford. But as it is right now, Chelsea top, Man City second, Liverpool third. Those 3 teams are in the league of their own, and it's safe to say we've got a 3-horse race for the title. Let's take a look at the papers.
It's just 14 games.
Cecilia,
okay,
come on.
I'll start with Complete Sports right here.
Come on, Cecilia.
It's just 14 games.
Nah. We've seen enough to know those are the 3 teams that will be competing for the titles.
Mo Salah and Sadio Mane will not be around in January and half of February. So let's wait what Liverpool can do. Complete Sports, Premier League trio interested in Joe Aribo, Crystal Palace, Brentford, and Watford.
It's only a matter of time, right, Dami?
Why will you go to Watford?
I don't think any of those clubs
or
should
Brentford?
Go to. Maybe Crystal Palace. Maybe
Crystal Palace.
Just maybe. But
maybe.
I don't think those are the kind of clubs.
These are Premier League sides, guys.
They have, but 2 of those names might just return, if not this season, maybe the next.
There's a prayer session currently going on for Watford right now.
Because of the Nigerian connection?
No. Madifaki is coming in.
We had that number at Fulham last season, and we prayed too.
No, we didn't.
We prayed.
We did it because it wasn't you saying.
The question is, are you good enough?
Okay, for beating United, we should stay. Onyeka targets a 5th EPL win in 12 games. Okay, let's see if he's going to get one today, right?
All right. Okay. That's against Tottenham.
And yeah, of course. Ahmed Musa. Okay, someone has been counting the last time he scored. The last time he scored was August 14th. And now his goal drought finally over. That's Super Eagles captain Ahmed Musa. Finally, he scored his 5th goal for his club.
The goal is scored for Nigeria doesn't count.
No, they're looking at club football. Yeah, club football. Yeah, the last time he scored for the club was August 14th. So they're looking at that. Somebody has been counting.
That's a long time.
7 days. Come on, guys. Don't even count that.
All right, let's go to Sporting Life. That's our next paper for review. Crystal Palace, Brentford, Watford, Target, Aribo. I've talked about that already. Nigerian entering final 18 months of his Rangers contract. Super Eagles player scored 21 goals in 116 appearances since joining in 2019. This is a very interesting one. Dennis can't stop scoring goals. Nets 4th in 5 games. Overall, Dennis is on 6 goals and 5 assists. I mean, that's a remarkable record for a player who was just playing in the Premier League for the first time. And you have to say it's a bit of a travesty that he's not even getting a look into the Super Eagles squad, Emmanuel Dennis.
I think his numbers call for his column. But again, how many strikers do you really want to have in the Super Eagles?
How many defenders do you want to have in the Super Eagles? You can ask the same question.
My point is this. If we are looking out for players that should come to the Super Eagles, it should be midfielders.
Okay.
Really?
And you
Yes,
have
it should be
midfielders playing as wingers, right? And
Yeah.
who is the coach again? Kenneth Raw. Okay, let's go to Sporting Sun right now. And Sporting Sun, you have a Ranić set to offload Ronaldo and Cavani. Okay.
We'll see.
NFF rules out severance package for Kenneth Raw. Interesting. Okay, and UFC 271. This is an interesting one coming from Israel Adesanya and the Whittaker's rematch in Jeopardy. What's happening here? You have details in Sporting Sun. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the program.
Yeah, pleasure as always. Enjoyed myself.
Welcome back. Thank you all for watching as well. Enjoy the rest of your day. I am Taya Salam.
I'm Cecilia Mogbe. See you tomorrow.